rivalry start between two sides that go every time they play. Whether it's the AFC North or Big Ten football, plenty of teams have old rivalries dating back to the 1800s. But right here in front of us, the Indiana Hoosiers and the RedHawks of Miami University, a relatively young rivalry brewing. Indiana bested the RedHawks in the game where it mattered, the TSCHL Championship, where the Hoosiers came out on top 4-2. But in the regular season, it was all Miami, outscoring Indiana 9-0 on back-to-back nights early in the season. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the cramped but cozy Perry Park Ice Arena in the south side of Indianapolis, Indiana, for club hockey at Indiana University. Alongside Garrett Drake, I'm Sam Weixler. And Garrett, after splitting the series last weekend against a non-league opponent, Indiana struggling against Concordia in Game 2, but looking for a bounce back with the regular lines out.
Yeah, Sam, the second game of the series last weekend was really interesting because the first game we saw so many positives. They were spreading the puck around, had lots of goal scorers, rookies getting their first goals as well. But Sammy Billis was between the pipes for that one. He'll be back in there today, so I expect him to really step it up and help propel this Hoosier team.
Miami RedHawks on the other side, 3-0 after playing way up north, Lake Superior State, and then Sioux College. 3-0 on that 9-hour bus ride that they bragged about on Twitter. And Garrett, that's got to take a toll, trying to get your finance homework and all of that done on the ride back.
Yeah, 9-hour bus ride is nothing to take lightly. We've had a few long-distance bus rides, like going to Michigan last year, but even that was like 4 hours, something like that, and 9 is double the amount. I couldn't even imagine what it was like getting straight off the bus, playing a game right after. That's probably why we saw such a poor performance from Concordia on Friday, but Indiana had to travel a lot less than Miami did to get here today, so that should play to their advantage.
Well, we're going to send it to the PA across the ice in just a moment. The starters for the road team, Miami, in white with red pants: Gamichia, Lacombe, McCormick, Folio, and Hartwell. For Indiana, it'll be McKay, Hawkins, Spears, Gustafson, and Jeremy. In the cage for Indiana, Sammy Billis, the phenom in the playoffs last year. And Garrett, we've said it ad nauseum. He got red hot last year when the season ended.
He stepped up when it mattered the most, and we really got to see just everything Sammy Billis can do in the playoffs. He stepped it up. He had the glove hand working. He was moving from pipe to pipe, and really he mirrored what Colt Hanks did during the regular season last year.
Well, it may not be Hockey Town, but we have hockey, Garrett. A very exciting game between the TSCHL playoff champions, the Indiana Hoosiers, and the TSCHL regular season champs, the Miami RedHawks. Now, Indiana has plenty of new faces that we'll talk about as the broadcast goes on, but right off the bat, Miami, several key losses between last year and this one.
Yeah, Sam, you look at the numbers. They lost Brendan Madsen, who was really the anchor of their team on the blue line last year. He was named first team all-conference as well. Torsten Lee, another first team all-conference mention, number 18 for them. He had 6 game-winning goals last season, which was first in the league. And he also had 34 assists and 52 total points, which was first as well. So that's a big loss that they're going to have to fill in.
A lot of team leaders lost, and they lost the man manning the bench. Bryce Hatton, the head coach for them last year, took them on a 24-9-1 record in the regular season, was named the Tri-State Collegiate Hockey League Coach of the Year, and, Garrett, the ACHA Southeastern Region Coach of the Year.
Yeah, and we got to talk to Bryce a little bit last year over the course of the season, and he even did a couple interviews with us during the playoff broadcast as well, and it seemed like he was a really solid coach, and Miami, losing him is tough, but it seems like Michael Rooney's got this squad rolling right now.
Rooney, the assistant last year, steps up into the head role, and we are underway from the south side of Indy. This rink, the Perry Park Ice Arena, normally the home of the South Stars. Indiana in all red, headed from right to left, and rushing right in front of us in white sweaters and red bottoms are the RedHawks. Quick jam shot off the back of the glass and rolling end over end where Jeremy flicks it forward. Spears meets it, but he's dispossessed, and the RedHawks try a little breakout from their own zone. Rushing into the near side corner, that's Hawkins being tailed by several RedHawks before winging it free. A pass all the way across in front of the Miami bench where Gustafson gets lit up. Almost a yard sale, but he hung onto his stick and then charges back to the bench to get a quick sub on. We've played just 45 seconds here in the opening frame. Neither side has broken the deadlock. Timmons onto the ice, the sophomore, pokes it forward, and it's into the attacking end zone. Quick jam job right in front. Nobody was there. Now to the blue line where Whitliff no-look passes it, but it's poked in the wrong direction. Charging the other way is Lawrence. For those of you just joining us, we welcome you back to the Perry Park Ice Arena, Indiana and the Miami RedHawks. Indiana, the TSCHL postseason champion, and the RedHawks flawless in the regular season, 11 wins and no blemishes on that record. Their first faltered, Garrett, was late in the season against some pretty tough opponents like Florida Gulf Coast. Indiana in all red, headed from right to left. Billis in between the pipes again, an all-star for Indiana, and made an all-conference team as well. Another all-conference face in the pipes on the far side of the rink. That is Colt Hanks, the graduate fourth-year player, as laying the boom in the corner is McDonald. He takes it by himself, tries a little swing around, and instead tries a reverse hit as he gets bounced into the glass on the far corner. McDonald, known to be a hard-hitting player, and goes to the goal any chance he gets. Another shovel shot right in front. Hanks swiveling his head, standing up now, and getting lifted off of his skates, and onto his backside is Castracane, who gives a RedHawk a little tap on the backside. So with 17:23 to go here in the first, neither side has put the biscuit in the basket.
We're already seeing some bodies colliding here early too, Sam. These two teams definitely remembering last season, and Miami's got a sour taste in their mouth, so they're going to be flying around tonight.
Draw to the glove side of Hanks, the Tri-State Collegiate Hockey League regular season MVP. DiLorenzo, a redirect right in front. Got the pass off the stick of Slavin, who got dumped. And the puck bounces along the blue line. and into the bench, so the whistle blown with 17 and 11 seconds to go here in the first.
And early on, we've already seen some pressure put on both goalies. Will Jeremy on the first shift of the game for Indiana had a couple flick shots coming at Hanks, and he was able to deflect those away. But we know Colt Hanks, it's going to take a lot of shots to get one past him.
Colt Hanks last year, a very strong performance. And in the 2 games he's played already, a .942 save percentage, 2 wins to his name in 2 starts. Miami on the breakout, moving across the center circle is Trincala, a newcomer from South Fayette High School in McDonald, Pennsylvania. A weak slapper that skims the edge of the ice. DiLorenzo lunges at it and kicks it forward, playing a little bit of soccer, all the way to Slavin on the near side. He works the outside of the circle, now shields it with his body, chipped up and off the back of the netting. Another big hit in the corner, and a good cross-check given to McKay as he falls down onto his shin protectors. Rushing across the logo with the center circle, that's the Indy Parks and Recreation logo. Now is Spears. He tries to make a little move into the left circle. A deflection poked away into the far boards. Gustafson got lit up early in the first 30 seconds or so of this game, and he gets dumped again. Timmons now on his heels. A big crunch from Whitliff, and he takes exception to the hit that happened first. Now into the near side corner. We've played almost exactly 4 minutes, and no score as Billis takes one straight into the Indiana script on his chest and holds it to freeze play.
Well, you can put that one down as a save for old Sammy. First one of the day, and he's looking pretty solid so far. But one thing I wanted to talk about while we got a break in the action, Matt McKay, it seems like he's playing a lot more aggressive this year and really shoving guys, getting physical, trying to get in their heads a little bit, it seems like.
McKay didn't start last year, his freshman year, as an everyday, every single game type of player. He forced his way into the lineup through hard work, and what Coach Weiss told us, if he keeps playing well, he'll stay in the lineup. And Garrett, that's what we've seen. Whitliff moving through some serious traffic. He gets caught up and careening into his own end is Kessing. Kessing deep partner Gamicia tries to meet it on the far side. A little bit of a jersey swap. They lost Gamicia's number 4, so it looks like he'll be in the number 1 in a white sweater. Rugby scrum in the near corner where our blind spot is. Timmons kicks it to himself, lays it up. Wrister that hits somebody in a tough spot and going down like a sack of potatoes is Jack Sullivan. Everybody gathers and magnates toward the injured player. It looks like Sullivan caught that right up above the thigh.
Yeah, that's something you don't want to see, especially if you're Miami of Ohio. Puck's flying hard at the net. And it's really, Sam, that's going to make people think twice about stepping in front of shots here.
Well, enough about the shots, Garrett. The hits are what our statistician and pregame, postgame host, Andrew Gus, or Goose as we call him, is keeping track of. 8-4 are the hits in favor of Indiana. And we haven't even played a full 5 minutes yet.
And they need to be physical if they want to win these next 2 games.
As we mentioned, the RedHawks of Miami, flawless last season in the regular season, and 3-0 so far against non-league opponents. Ducked forward and then flicked free all the way across the blue line. Fratto races into the near side corner, and a whole heap of red sweaters gather around him. Williams turns away from his own trapezoid, and the RedHawks will try to set something up in no man's land. Again, the puck redirects behind the cage and back into the near corner. Getting it with some speed, here's Jeremy. He's cruising across the blue line, working this near side dot. Tries a quick backhanded shot, and standing his ground is Colt Hanks, who's hugging that near side post and really holding on to the iron.
That was a 0 angle attempt right there from Jeremy. Tried to sneak it over the shoulder.
Tough view for us and for the camera here at the Perry Park Arena on the south side of Indy. We're doing the best we can, and this is about the best spot we can get for the camera, Garrett. We tried last year, and we're going to have to do the same thing this year. Just make it happen, and if you can't see, we'll try to see for you.
Yeah, we'll paint the picture. Don't worry about that.
Face off to the wood side of Colt Hanks. Draw one by the RedHawks and a big back check by Williams. He throws his man into the boards, but emerging with the puck are the RedHawks. Chipped across the center line, icing waved off, and so Hawkins will have to swivel around and speed through the corner. Through turns 1 and 2, pushes it forward to Kissel, who gets held up and a little stick lift. And again, the puck sliding in between partners. Big interception right in the middle. Charging across. Here's Lawrence. His shot gloved easily by Billis on the near side to stop play at 10 seconds under 14 to play here in the opening frame of game number 3.
Yeah, doing a backhand pass cross ice in the neutral zone usually doesn't work out too well for you, and Miami was able to capitalize with a takeaway right there, but fortunately Sammy's able to save that one.
Miami already this season putting up numbers on the scoreboard, averaging 6 goals per game, and even had 9 against one opponent last weekend. Indiana on the other side, 7 goals in game 1 and 1 goal in game 2 when they changed the lines up pretty significantly. Several shots buzzed the tower for Billis, but Indiana is able to help him out and win the puck back. Whole lot of twisting and turning and arms tangling around with the sticks. Finally, Indiana clears the line, but they will cede possession, and Kessing retreats to circle around. Stolen by O'Flaherty. He didn't see it go right under him. It may be an over and back. Whistle not blown. He almost had a shot that took him right in the chops, Garrett. That was a dangerous, almost hospital pass.
He did a great job of spinning away from it as well.
Past the width of their own zone, chopped at and stolen away by McDonald. He's got himself some space. Sharp angle shot right in toward Hanks, and it's poked around as he slaps his glove on top of the ice to freeze play at 13:01. Shots on goal, 4-3, and the hits now 8-6. Things starting to even out a little bit, Garrett, and everything comes out in the wash.
Yeah, you had a feeling that Miami wasn't going to take being pushed around for long, and we saw that puck kind of slide all the way across the crease there, but Hank's able to snap the glove down.
On the draw, RedHawks have merged with the puck. Timmons tries to kick it to himself for a 3rd time, but instead it flies around him, and Whitliff collects the garbage. He loses an edge and somehow gets the puck to lean toward DiLorenzo. Stolen away in the corner, bodies colliding, and the glass bouncing and shaking as we can see it. Fed all the way to the open ice and kept in the zone. Toilet bowled all the way around and then poked back the other direction. Billis trying to cover both posts at once. He doesn't know where the puck is. Indiana steals it back, and here comes Slavin with some momentum. Doesn't have numbers, but he'll try to make something happen. A shot that ended up being very weak, deflected off a stick and sent to the far boards. Chambers thinks about a shot. He then falls down, and Indiana struggles to keep possession. They can't hold on to that blue line. And with 8 minutes played here in the first and neither side breaking the deadlock, Garrett, it'll be interesting to see who blinks first.
And Sam, one thing to note, Konstantinos Raftis making his debut on the ice for Indiana right now, number 12.
Did not dress in the first 2 games. Here's a quick poke by Wallace, one of the returning stars of the team. Had 2 goals versus Sioux College and had the Hard Hat Player of the Game award. Simoneau tries to feed in front. Quick whip at the shot by Raftis, who is a 2nd-generation Indiana hockey player of sorts. His older brother, Socrates Raftis, a tall and physical player, was on the team my freshman year, Garrett, back in the 2019-20 season. That's pre-COVID. Raftis was about as physical as you can get, and if I remember correctly, Garrett, he was suspended on more than one occasion. Played forward, Michelli decides to chip it and chase himself off the ice. Both sides will get fresh legs. Quarterbacking the offense, but stolen away. Gustafson tries to shoot it from close in. Point blank range again. Hartwell, one of the starters, a freshman from Killdeer, Illinois. Young guys are what made it happen for Indiana last year, and Hartwell was a captain on his Chicago Young Americans team. Almost at the halfway mark of this first period as the puck is flung all the way across, smacking into the glass in front of us. Icing waved off after the near deflection, and it's 9-iron right into the lap of Jeremy, who then smacks it around the leg and over to McKay. He gains the zone, trying to work that circle, fed in front. Gustafson tries to poke away at it, finished in front. Spears can't get it, now it is, a deflection and a goal. Jeremy gets the point. He's the one celebrating the most, Garrett. And boy, after all of that chaos and nearly 10 minutes played in this first period, Indiana draws first blood. It's Will Jeremy, who led the team in goals last year, picking up right where he left off, his 3rd of the season.
And we've seen several rebound opportunities here early right there. They were able to get Hanks down on all fours. He was sprawling from side to side trying to find the puck, and they shoveled it right over the top of him. Will Jeremy did that for an Indiana goal.
It looks like a miscommunication between the linesman and the stripes at center ice. Digging in is Kissel, going up against Gerling. Gerling, another newcomer for the RedHawks from Hamburg, New York. A quick shot on Billis. He elbows it away and nearly hits the tinfoil ceiling, but it comes back down to earth in the near corner. Whitliff moving with some space. Now gets drilled, and he absorbed every bit of energy in that hit. Puck still in the zone. A big tie-up, and bodies going down right along the blue line, poked free, and still in the attacking zone. Indiana had some effort. Kissel tries a shot right over the bar, and then collides with Colt Hanks. He is furious. Looks like he may have been pushed. Another shot gloved by Hanks. What a save. A 5-alarm effort from Colt Hanks, sliding around on one leg to keep the score where it is.
And Sam, it looks like when he made that save, he had his skates on the very edge of the crease right there. He came out a little bit, but he was able to guard the whole net.
Draw won by Indiana in the attacking third. Into the end zone, met by DiLorenzo. Youngster last year who had plenty of goals and made things happen, playing in every single game, all 34. Muffin shot toward Hanks, looking for a deflection. No one was in the vicinity, or at least could put a good redirect on it. Flashing forward, there's Folio. The senior tries to play it forward, but no one in particular there. Again, DiLorenzo crossing the center dot. Feeds to O'Flaherty in front of the Miami bench. Shot through traffic, takes a bite out of somebody, and turning around, pirouetting is Froese. He knocks it forward to Trincala, gains the zone legally, sticked away by Billis, where DiLorenzo scoops it up. Slavin gets bodied off the puck and has to get up as the puck nearly knocks him in the back of the leg. He took a shot to the side of the leg, and now a quick deflection in front, and they score. Miami evens it up out of nowhere. Billis didn't know where it was, and it's 1-1 with 8:41 to go here in the first. Garrett, we're going to look out for who blinked first, but this could be a slugfest just like those games last year were.
And it looks like Eric Miller got the goal there for Miami. And Sam, I was just about to bring up how there was lots of traffic out in front of Billis early on in this game, and we saw it right there. It came back to bite him.
Wherefore Eric Miller, the freshman from Hilliard, Ohio, was the first guy this season to win the hard hat man of the game, and then took the boys to Applebee's, we're told.
We're more of a Chili's team ourselves, but
Absolutely. 1-1 the score. We've played half and then some of this first period. Referee had his hand up, and another big body smack, as it looks like another Indiana skater getting rolled up on O'Flaherty, and Chambers now had his face full of snow. Puck does hit the tinfoil ceiling this time, and with 8 minutes and 11 to go here in the opening frame, we're back at one tally apiece.
And everything's starting to even out a little bit here, Sam. As you mentioned, the hits, the shots, both teams looking mano-a-mano.
Draw one, trying to get a shot off. That was Orlowski. He lets the blue men work. Quick sidestep. Lawrence's shot zooms through legs and bodies, and Chambers flicks it free as he is able to finally clear that blue line. Both sides getting a change. Miami has to vacate on the delayed offside. Simoneau kicks it and spins it back toward Whitliff. Little give and go action, and all the way across the zone, right along the red line. Chipped forward, Hanks vacates the zone to play it to a defenseman. Misses his man entirely. That was Lawrence, the intended receiver. And Indiana playing around with it in the attacking third, a dangerous position. Miami trying to hold on to this tie they've created again. Jeremy smacks at it, and it whistles across. Whitliff watches it jump and skip over his stick. On a rush by himself, it looks like Massey. He spins around and has to hold up. The puck was knocked just off of his tape. Again, a centering pass right off of a stick. Kicked down is Kessing. He flings it into the near side corner where the fans are standing right in our line of sight, Garrett.
Matt Spears did a great job stopping the break right there as well.
Waffle board saved by Billis from point blank on our side. And now forward to Gustafson, who gets spun around. Puck flies free and then back under his legs. Quick 1-2 pass, and that'll be an extra man on the ice, 6 men. So Indiana will be the first to send a man to the sin bin. 6:46 to go here in the first. And that's a bench minor on the Hoosiers after Williams jumped on and kicked it to himself while his replacement was still clambering over the boards.
And Sam, that's one of those penalties where right there, sometimes it's just out of your control. If they play the puck towards your bench and you've got a guy leaving the ice, sometimes it's going to hit him, and it's unfortunate. Looks like Indiana sending DiLorenzo to the box to serve the penalty.
In the playoffs in the National Hockey League this past spring, Garrett, I remember some controversies about too many men being on the ice, and it's no different here in the T. So Indiana last season, just under 80% on the penalty kill, and thus far they are 7 for 8 in killing off the opponent's advantages. 87.5% so far this year for those of you keeping score at home. Working the blue line, walking across is Lawrence. Plays it forward, a little pitch and catch. Finds some soft space and swing and a miss. Back toward Lawrence. His shot kicked away by Billis. And bodies collided in the crease, but it sails all the way across. Indiana gets new killers on.
That was a wicked ricochet by Michael McCormick, number 12. He just slapped his stick down as that puck was on the way, and he nearly got it past Billis.
With an extra skater on the ice so far, 3 for 12 the RedHawks are, as they have just 80 seconds remaining with this 5-on-4. We've reached the 12-minute mark of this game in the first period. Bounced along the glass, and that forecheck and back check really going at each other on both sides. Just over a minute to go, Indiana tries to ship it down the river and will successfully do so as Hanks cruises out of the crease. Giving chase is Spears, harassing Wallace as he calls for a man quickly. DiLorenzo calling out instructions from the bench and standing up. Swing and a miss and offside as the RedHawks, not to their own fault, entered the zone early. Just a little bit of a miscue, and still 44 seconds to make something happen in this 5-on-4 power play.
So far, the Indiana Kill's done a good job of keeping them out of the zone and working around the ice, not making sure they leave any lanes uncovered. Winning the faceoff here would help as well.
Faceoffs were a huge key for Indiana last season and so far this year as well, winning 60% of the faceoffs that we've scored, Garrett. Miami circling around and trying to get everybody lined up in the right direction. Chambers steals it away on the shorthanded rush. Holds for time, gives it off to Whitliff, who slides around the end zone, up into the glass and nearly hit the ceiling, but bounces in front of the Miami bench. Whitliff watches it go through his legs and then slides back toward his own end. Can't get beat to that corner. Charging in is Williams. He slashes at the puck, and we're under 5 to play. Minutes, that is, in this first period, and under 5 seconds before DiLorenzo can climb over the boards. He does just that, and Indiana still on a rush. Centering pass, no red sweaters were there as they were on a change. Back to 5 aside, weaving through traffic. That's Hartwell. His shot gets covered up easily by Billis. A little bit of shoulder nudging and extracurricular activity. And now some forechecks just for good measure, as both sides are a little bit chippy. 4:36 to go here in the first. Shots on goal. Miami has stepped out in front during that power play. 11 shots for Miami and 9 for the Hoosiers.
Got some pushing and shoving going on right here. Referee forced to step in. Like it was Matt Spears instigating down there.
Spears from Barrington, Rhode Island. A quick shot, point blank, again just inside the circle. Gustafson tries to wrap his stick around an opponent, but is unsuccessful. And there's Ferguson trying to keep it in the attacking third for Miami. Into the near side corner, shot through the crease and back out. A one-timer that takes a bit out of Hawkins. He plays it forward, but it's jackknifed away. Hawkins gets his own redirect, and the shot goes off a leg. Slow to get up is one RedHawks skater. Spears twirls along the end line and now into the corner. Feeding to Jeremy, who walks the line through traffic. Deflected into the corner. Gustafson and Hawkins have been everywhere all at once. The puck twirls end over end and through the center circle on a rush. Trincala's shot. And another redirect from the far side. Billis makes a save. Score still 1-1. 3 3/4 of a minute to go here in the first. McKay tries to make a little dangle at the blue line. Lucky he didn't pull his team offside. He then gives it up on a free possession to Trincala. He flicks it across, and that'll be an icing, it looks like, with 3.5 to go in this frame, Garrett. A little bit of a mental mistake there.
Yeah, we've seen some of the Indiana passes just not quite where they need to be as well. We've seen players have to reach back while going forward to try to get the puck out in front of them. They just got to work on getting it a little bit quicker, and once they start hitting their spots, I think we're going to see something happen because they're close right now.
Face off to the bench side of the zone. Whitliff, a big wind up and a swing, misses the target entirely, and the puck ricochets right toward Kissel. Kissel had a strong freshman season, and last year during his junior campaign had a 12-game point streak at one time in the heart of the regular season schedule. His sophomore season being wiped out by COVID naturally. Lofted high into the air and back into the Indiana zone. Whitliff digs it out and careens in between the circles in his own side. McDonald by himself feigns a shot, now leaves it for Whitliff, who tries to zigzag through traffic. He does win it back, but he will have to circle the wagons and regroup in his own end.
Indiana nearly able to catch Miami in a change right there.
Castricane leaves it for McDonald, who chips it forward. A quick wrister by Kissel. A second shot goes up into the ceiling and nearly smacks a light fixture. So with 2:35 to go, the score still just 1-1.
Perry Park filling up a little bit tonight, Sam. We got some youngsters in the building, it looks like. Parents from both sides.
Garrett, I have been pleasantly surprised all three of the games Indiana has played so far this season about the turnout, whether in Columbus or here on the south side of Indy. Big baseball swing taken by Williams. He nearly smacked somebody in the mouth. Miami D-men playing pitch and catch. That's Folio, who pushes it free. Slavin ties up his man and then somehow emerges with the puck. Played the width of the neutral zone where Williams tries to sidestep a man, but it's poked free. Hartwell tries to gain the zone, but he gets spun and tangles up with Whitliff. A little bit of animosity. The puck left, or at least intended for Slavin. Played forward, and watching it go all the way across is Hartwell. So we could be looking at another icing, Garrett, with under 120 seconds to go.
Indiana's got to start taking advantage of these faceoffs that they get in the offensive zone. It seems like Miami's had the slight edge in the faceoff department today, something that we don't see happen to Indiana very often. They got Jeremy in the dot, or excuse me, looks like Brandenburg in the dot right now.
Face off to the far side. Garrett, you had it the first time. There is Germs. A lazy shot that smacks the leg pad of Hanks. Another shot through traffic. Garrett, I've been saying that multiple times this period, and there is not a line of sight. Now a big check. Looks like an Indiana skater, possibly Spears, ends up on his wallet after taking a cross check to the face. And Garrett, this will be interesting to see how it's scored, because that is the senior Luca Folio in the box. And if that is intentional contact to the head, he could be at risk of ejection.
It looks like they're going to keep him in. He's talking to the officials as well as Spears.
Garrett, I'm not sure if he's a law student, but he is pleading his case and trying to prevent himself from being convicted of a felony, as it were, on the rink.
It looks like they got hit with a double here.
Well, Garrett, while this sorts everything out, 1 minute and 46 seconds to go here in the first. The goal scorer for Indiana and Miami. Indiana, we believe it was Will Jeremy, and then on the other side was the new kid on the block, Eric Miller. Interestingly enough, Garrett, the hand skills it takes in hockey must transfer over to the golf world, because Eric Miller played varsity golf in high school.
Sure, that would lead to a pretty good slap shot, Happy Gilmore style.
I haven't been keeping up on the Spit and Chicklets golf outings, but we'll have to check those out on the ride home. Indiana wins the draw, and it's McDonald trying to do some fancy stick handling behind the cage. Waits for an open angle, feeds to Whitliff at the blue line. Again to the soft side. Jeremy shoots it through a body around Colt Hank's leg. He kicks it away and into the corner. Appears Indiana to be up a man, 5-on-4 power play. Whitliff holds, surveys his option. Now to Jeremy inside the circle and cruises all the way around. Whitliff lunges at the puck but can't hold the zone. Miami gets new legs on. Whitliff wheeling around, dumps it, and a no-look give all the way through into the trapezoid. chopped at and sent all the way across. Indiana appears to have just 70 seconds left on this advantage. Under a minute to play in the first period. 1 goal apiece for the regular season champs and the postseason champs, Miami and Indiana respectively. Still a power play for Indiana. Last year, 28% with an extra man, and have been fruitless thus far with the extra man in the 2 games they've played. So moving with some pace is DiLorenzo. Little wall pass to himself. He'll chip and chase it into the end corner. Holding it at the line, that's McKay. A quick pump fake, shoots it to the backside. Gustafson tries to redirect it. Close but no cigar, and it slides all the way across where Billis collects it off the Perry Park logo in the far corner. 20-plus seconds on this power play for Indiana. Miami, last season, strong on the penalty kill. And this year the same. They have not allowed a goal while down a man, 8 for 8. And even as the period ends, Garrett, some chippiness and some pushing and shoving. When we return to play in the second period, there will be 14 seconds on the power play for Indiana. But as we head to the locker room and let the Zamboni do some work, it's 1-1. Scoring for Indiana. Will Jeremy led the team in goals last year and is already out to a hot start with 3 goals this season. Goal scorer for the RedHawks, Eric Miller, the freshman. Shots on goal through these first 20 minutes. A dead heat, 12-12. The hits, Indiana reaches back into the lead, 12-8. And the face-offs, Garrett, those are even too.
Yeah, the face-offs have really been what surprised me the most early on. We've seen Indiana dominate in the circle all season, last year as well. But Miami's held their own right there in the dot, and really the Indiana power play, they just haven't got as much movement as you would hope for. The passes, as I mentioned, have been a little behind. They just got to get more out in front, keep working on the pace, and they're going to start next period on the man advantage for a few seconds as well, so maybe they'll get a rush on the first shift.
Well, we'll let the boys catch their breath, and we will set up for an intermission show alongside Garrett Drake. I'm Sam Weixler. We'll send it to a quick break. 1-1 the score after the first period between Miami and Indiana. This is the Indiana Hockey Broadcast Network. Welcome to the first intermission report. I'm Andrew Gus, joined alongside Garrett Drake. Garrett, great first period there, hockey, right?
Yeah, both teams look dead even so far. The face-off battle we mentioned at the end of the first, Miami has been able to come out with a tie against Indiana, a team that dominated in the dot last year, and early in this season, it's been a big advantage for them. So that surprised me a little bit. Each team with one goal, both of them, kind of got past the goaltenders on a couple lucky bounces there, but Sammy Billis and Colt Hanks are incredible netminders, and it's going to be a heck of a game. We might even see overtime if both teams are unable to put another one in. But it's been a good game so far, and I'm sure the crowd at home's entertained.
Now, I was not here last year for the league championship, but tell me about it. Was it like this experience? Because right now it seems like everyone's dialed in, locked in, and the energy is here for sure.
Yeah, it was a similar atmosphere, no question. Miami won both of the regular season meetings a year ago, but that was before Indiana really took a step up and began competing every single night. And once they got to the T championship, Miami was the heavy favorite. Indiana came in as the underdog, but they were able to take care of business. And, there's no question that Miami had a sour taste in their mouth after the way that ended, and then they ended up losing in regionals as well. Indiana able to advance to nationals, so a lot of people coming in think that IU is better than Miami, but the RedHawks are trying to prove that wrong right now.
That's surely the case tonight. As we saw the first shift alone, lots of physical play all around, extracurricular activities. We had a few coincidental penalties there at the end of the period, and I'm sure that I'll just keep on going here, especially as the game stays tighter, or either if it even doesn't get tighter. No matter what happens, I think that this game's going to be really physical, and the shots are going to keep on getting pounded on net.
Yeah, and we've seen early on, every team Indiana's played, Concordia and now Miami today, they've really been getting physical. It seems like, the Hoosiers have a target on their back. Teams want to come in and beat them, and they know that they're going to have to be physical to do it, but Indiana hasn't backed down from it. They've been hitting right back. I mentioned Matt McKay earlier. He's really been throwing bodies around at the blue line. Austin Williams as well doing the same thing. So it seems like everybody's slowly but surely finding their role.
I agree. There's some fire in the feet tonight. The skates are moving. The pucks are churning. And, overall, I think everyone just looks great tonight. So we'll have to see what the next two periods bring about. Hopefully for this upcoming period, keep getting shots to the net and hopefully find those loose rebounds. Again, Andrew Gus alongside Garrett Drake, and we'll bring you period 2 in just a few moments.
And welcome back to Perry Park here at the south side of Indianapolis. I'm Garrett Drake, and joining me in the booth now is going to be Andrew Gus. And Andrew, we've seen a close game thus far. We touched on it on the intermission show, but really it's been dead even.
Sure, G. We saw a lot of stuff there in the first period. We got a fresh sheet of ice and a fresh 20 minutes ahead of us, so a lot can happen here.
And each game that Indiana's played so far, we've seen it get more and more physical and really escalate to punches being thrown at some points as the game goes on, so we'll have to see what the second period holds for us.
And only 14 seconds here. The Hoosiers will be up on a power play advantage. They'll return back to even 5-on-5. But hopefully the first 14 seconds they can get the puck in the offensive zone and get some offense going.
They've yet to have a power play goal this season, so now would be the best time for that, no question, in a 1-1 game against the defending TSCHL regular season champions and Indiana serving as the tournament champions.
Sure thing is these guys even call it a rivalry game. They're ready to go. This is the competition. This is what they work for at practice, the whole season, the off season, right here, games like this.
And whoever comes out on top in this two-game series, Andrew, is going to have quite the edge in the season standings in the TSCHL, with this being the first interleague matchup, or league matchup, for Indiana and Miami likewise. The RedHawks coming off of 3 wins against Salt College last weekend. They played on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and were able to win all 3. Referee set to drop the puck, and we are about to get underway for period number 2. Once they realign and jab at each other, and we are ready to go. Indiana wins the opening draw from center ice and moves left to right here. Raftis trying to find Tommy McDonald, but it misses the stick and goes all the way forward for an icing.
I definitely like the look there, a stretch pass, trying to get the puck in the offensive zone, as we just said. Now just 4 seconds, so a handful, and we're back to even 5-on-5.
Indiana still with a bagel in the power play goal column. It seems like their power plays this season, though, have come at some really inopportune times, and they haven't really gotten to take full advantage of them. In the blowout loss last week, they had a couple power plays, but it was already to the point where the game was pretty much over for them, and they didn't get to see their full potential. With the puck now and playing it over is Austin Williams. Raftis, that one hit a leg and goes all the way to the end. McDonald chasing after and blowing a blade there and centering, save by Colt Hanks, the Miami defender, sliding down there. We've seen a couple times players losing their edges. The ice looks pretty good so far, but it's definitely getting scraped up quick.
That's for sure. Also, not to mention behind Hanks' net there, the Zamboni doors, they're not perfectly level, flat. A few pucks have taken some weird bounces off those.
Centering pass off the stick of Braden Lackamy goes wide, and now Indiana working the other way. Williams swooping into the offensive zone. He centers one that goes just wide. He was trying to find Castracani, but it finds the stick of a RedHawk defender. Andrew Chambers on the ice now, chasing the puck down. He circles around the net and now swoops back and forth, trying to find an opening. That one exits the zone and escapes the stick of Hunter Ferguson, who gets hit into the boards as he chases that one. Griffin Timmons, the sophomore, able to chase down for Indiana as they fight through neutral ice. Michelli carries into the zone and flips one on over the glove of Hanks, and it bangs off the back glass, where there's some fans lined up there with the best view in the house, the view of Colt Hanks. Coming up with the puck for Miami is Hunter Ferguson, and we've got a whistle. Miami not going to be allowed to change here.
18-12 here left in the second period. Again, as we said, energy still there, present. Everyone's alive into this game. Hoosiers, I feel like, are getting really close to striking here. They're starting to set off the offensive zone and maybe get some cycle going, keep the offensive possession time.
Miami wins the draw in their own zone, and they're able to exit as Indiana now has to chase back. Whitliff does a good job doing his man on the blue line and winning the puck. Slavin working into the zone. DiLorenzo looked like he might have been offside, but he's able to sneak in there. Billis comes out as it's going to be a delayed penalty here, and we get an icing. Oh, no icing, just a delayed penalty, so Indiana gets the extra man here. They set up the offense. McDonald finds O'Flaherty. Whitliff takes a lick, and Indiana still with the advantage. Miami has yet to touch up. McDonald shoots one off this high off the chest of Colt Hanks right there, and they're able to not hold the zone, but they've still got the delayed call.
Hoosiers doing a great job here, killing some more time with the all-man advantage.
McDonald works in, and Miami finally able to touch up. So Indiana will go back to the power play, and Sammy Billis will now skate back to his net.
Nearly 45 seconds there killed with Billis on the bench and the extra attacker.
The penalty is going to go on number 27, Colin Hartwell, for the RedHawks, as he talks with the linesman about what he did, and he'll have 2 minutes to think about it.
So earlier it looked like the power play for the Hoosiers was setting up real nice. Just the middle getting clogged, but look to the outside winger at the top of the circle for an open shot and maybe a great opportunity for a rebound.
Kostrikani wins the draw. Gustafson swooping in, gets knocked off the puck, and Miami able to clear. 2 Hoosier sweaters racing for the puck on the near corner. McKay plays it back for Austin Williams, who receives the pass. That's Kostrikani from DiLorenzo. DiLorenzo hits the deck, loses his stick, and now the puck going back all the way to the other side. Working in is McKay. McKay swoops, gets pushed off just before he could get a shot on Hanks, and now breaking away with the puck for Miami is Eric Miller. He runs into Slavin right there, who's able to win the puck back for Indiana. Cross ice pass, unable to find a Hoosier sweater. And McKay now spins out on the near side by the Miami boards. Coming into the zone, Gustafson, and Slavin unable to keep the line there as he's caught crossing the finish.
Still a minute 2 to go here on the Hoosier power play. And I'm sure it's not as they had planned so far. They've not really had a chance to set up in the offensive zone. They've kind of been stuck there in the neutral zone for a little bit. So hopefully they can get the puck in the offensive zone here and get themselves set up.
We could see Henry Whitliff talking to his players right there about where they need to line up and potential passing lanes to take advantage of this Red Hawk penalty kill that they've seen so far. Whitliff receives the puck. Now McDonald racing towards attacking ice. He's got O'Flaherty with him. McDonald swoops behind the net. Back up top he goes. Keeping the puck in is Whitliff. Here's a shot by Jeremy that deflects off the leg of Hanks, and Whitliff slings one on that Hanks deflects again. He saved one with the leg and one with the waffle board there, and it's still 1-1. Kissel working back in. He centers one that tried finding the stick of O'Flaherty, but it got deflected on the way. Now Miami able to clear, and they've got a one-on-one with McCormick being guarded by Austin Williams. McCormick leaves it off. And Indiana able to control once again, but Williams gives it right back.
Back to even strength now.
The Indiana power play unable to take advantage for the second time tonight. McDonald centers one that went high over the shoulder of Hanks and deflects off the boards all the way to their own zone.
Great shift for McDonald there. Holding the puck in the offensive zone, creating time and space for his team, as well as bringing a lot of energy to the offensive zone. That's what they need right there. That's a great example.
Jeremy trying to find Chambers up the ice, but he couldn't get a stick on it. Now he goes behind to retrieve. They play pitch and catch back and forth on both sides of the ice as Andrew Hawkins gets that one. Chambers trying to get a stick on, but the puck was retrieved first by Drew Lawrence. Drew Lawrence was another standout player on this Red Hawk team last year. Big 6'3" D-man. And Indiana able to put one in the back of the net right there. Looks like it was Aiden Simino with the goal. And 14-10 remaining in the period. The Hoosiers have taken a 2-1 lead.
Right place, right time. Good heads-up hockey there. Stick on the ice. His stick was off the ice. That probably would not have went in the back of the cage. Keeping that thing on the ice really helped him, I think, there.
Aiden Simino picking up goal number 1 on the season. He does have an assist, so 2 points in the scoring column now for the sophomore. And so many young players on this Indiana team putting numbers in the stat sheet. Timmons shovels one, over to the near boards in the blind corner for us. We'll try to lean over and see what's going on. McDonald tried to tip one up to Castracani, but a good job to intercept right there by number 1 in white. Noah Kinzinger's listed as number 1, but I believe Gamachia is wearing it today as there was a malfunction with his jersey there. They go into the blind corner. As we mentioned, you see the board shaking over there. That's really the only thing we can see.
Yeah, lots of contact going on in front of the net there.
Castracani centering one. McDonald tried to whack at it. Now hit Whitliff. Baseball swings that one into the offensive zone. And now he's holding up the stick right there as he heads to the bench. Him and Daniel Gerling were getting tangled up. Austin Williams. Gustafson working his way in. Slapper sent on by Jeremy right into the glove of Hanks. As Jeremy was looking for the top corner there, but Hanks had it covered.
Still 12:53 here to go in the second period. Still now the Hoosiers leading 2-1 here against the RedHawks.
So far, Miami's only been able to register 1 shot on goal in the first 7 minutes of this period. Indiana with 8, and really they've been dominating the attack so far.
The ice has been pretty tilted in the Hoosiers' favor.
They win the offensive zone draw, and a shot sent on by Gustafson. The puck still loose out in front, and Hanks able to sprawl out and get a glove on it. We've seen lots of traffic in front of Hanks as well. That was something that Billis had to deal with in the first period, and now it seems like Hanks is really having a lot of bodies in the blue.
Yeah, he did a good job there finding the puck, but locating it the first few times, he was scrambling for that puck, and that's how the Hoosiers knocked in the first 2 goals. Maybe continue to do that, knock in a few more.
O'Flaherty will take the draw for Indiana. And into the corner it goes, where the puck is taken by Andrew Kessing. Miami trying to clear the zone, and they're able to. Racing after the puck right there is Hunter Wallace. Wallace backhands one, spinning into the zone, and now Miami will have to reset. Kessing whiffed on that pass right there, and Indiana trying to take advantage. Collision right in front of us with Austin Williams and Lackamy, as bodies continuing to hit the boards here. 12 minutes remaining in period number 2. Indiana leading 2-1. Cross ice pass finds the stick of Johnny Fratto right there. He leaves one off.
Good job by the Hoosiers there, putting pressure right on as the RedHawks enter their offensive zone.
Williams passes one behind Billis that is retrieved by Konstantinos Raftis. DiLorenzo now flips one all the way up to Hanks, who drops down to block that, as Indiana will get a quick change. Miami trying to catch him off guard, and they do. Coming into the zone is McCormick. He crosses one over, but a good job picking that one off by, I believe that was Whitliff back there. It was Henry Whitliff who was able to get back and stop that cross ice pass that surely would have been an easy one-timer.
Yeah, with Gustafson's speed, he surely would have been off the races there. A nice look off the stretch pass, just got caught up in his feet, couldn't find it. Still, I like the way the Hoosiers playing so far this period. Keep up the intensity and keep getting buys to the net. I think that's going to be the solution to getting more goals.
The face-off battle still dead even at 3, so we mentioned in the intermission how the face-offs have been even, and that has not changed yet. Here's a shot by Spears that goes wide, and Indiana sprawling around in the crease, but Hanks is able to cover, and they get a whistle.
I really like the way this line's been playing tonight. This is line 1 starters with Spears, Jeremy, and Gustafson. I mean, I feel like every time they've been out there, they've brought everything they have and left it all on the ice, and that's what you got to do. It's only 60 minutes of this game, so many shifts, so always make sure to leave it out there, and they've done just that.
Spears goes chasing after that one, but the battle is won by Drew Douglas for the RedHawks, and they come out with the puck. That one takes a funny bounce off the boards and goes all the way past Billis. And Whitliff backhands one out of the out of the way of Billis right there, and Indiana coming back with the rush on the other end. Jeremy swooping in. They're able to stay on. Jeremy crosses one that Hanks was able to get in the way of. Another near opportunity for a tap-in goal right there. Here's a shot sent on, deflected out front, and that one goes high up off the aluminum ceiling here at Perry Park.
Yeah, the ceilings in here are much higher than over at the Frank, so got to take advantage of that while they have it. Also tomorrow at the Goggin, they'll have extremely high ceilings too,
Yeah,
so won't have to worry about flicking the puck up in the air and get it caught.
Even the ceilings here still aren't ideally as high as you would want them, but it's definitely an upgrade from the Frank, as a shot right off the faceoff is gloved easily by Billis. But it's just crazy how Indiana plays in so many different types of rinks, different sizes of rinks, and they have to really adapt for every single environment that they're placed in.
It's also great to be versatile, though. You never know what you're going to be competing with or where, even so. Always being available, it's a good thing to have.
Sullivan keeps that one in at the blue line as they go into the blind corner over there. A centering pass got knocked away. Again, Billis able to grab that one out in front as pushing and shoving ensues after the whistle.
There's the physicality we mentioned, continuing to stay up.
Miami still with only 2 shots on goal this period. They do have a slight edge in the hits department at 6-5 right now. And the
Yeah,
physicality.
but you also have to take into account the Hoosiers have had the puck for the majority of the time, so they haven't really had a chance to be given hits the other way.
Definitely more opportunities for Miami, and the physicality has appeared to pick up like we said it would. Bodies colliding against the boards right in front of us again as Brandenburg backhands that one into the zone, but Castricani was unable to find it. Williams skids one over to Timmons. They play pitch and catch with each other, and McDonald chases it down. Miami able to keep the zone. Spinning, and a backhand pass there made by J.T. Kelly goes into the blind corner. Finally, Indiana coming out with it. Williams runs into a man in the neutral zone and gets the zone. Brandenburg and Whitliff are back for Indiana as they collide at the blue line. Here's a shot sent on right off the glove of Billis and backhanded out by Brandenburg. A nice play to stop that rebound opportunity. Brandenburg, cross-ice pass for McDonald. He works his way into the zone. Tommy circling around the net. Slavin unable to catch up to that one, and it's flipped out for a line change as they wave off the icing.
Down to 8:34 here, still in the second, lots of time.
DiLorenzo taps that one back behind the Miami net, where O'Flaherty is there to chase after it. DiLorenzo whacking at the puck. It goes behind Hanks. Indiana still with control. D'Lo shoots one high up off the shoulder of Hanks, it appears, and now bodies colliding in the crease again. DiLorenzo centers one, and he nearly found the stick of Raftis right there, but it was knocked away at the last second. 7:55 remaining in period number 2. Indiana still with a 2-1 lead. Slavin backhands a pass that couldn't find DiLorenzo. Looks like he was getting checked out of there. Getting physical down there in the blue. That one rung off the boards and going behind the net to retrieve for Miami. Right there was, I believe, Luca Foglio, and it was as he heads to the bench. Jack Sullivan carrying the puck around. He runs into a body to Timmons. That one hits high off Billis and goes wide, and it looks like the net might have came off its borings a little bit here.
I don't know if you noticed in that last rush there, G, but every single time the Hoosiers had the puck, someone was always in front of the net. So Coach Weiss is obviously doing the same thing as us, as the more bodies in front of the net, the more activity, the more stuff to knock Hanks off his game and try to untrack the puck. I mean, that's what you got to do right there, and they did just that. So good heads-up hockey there from the Hoosiers.
If you're looking to score, that's really the best way to go about things. Just get as many people down there as you can and pray for the best. And so far we've seen the goalies have to deal with immense pressure and, blocked vision. But so far they've been able to handle it quite well.
Obviously, Hanks, as a grad student, has seen lots of pucks come his way here at the collegiate level, so I'm sure he's very used to that.
No question about that. Jeremy keeps the zone, now circles back to the right. He flings one cross ice to Whitliff. Whitliff sends one high over the net, where Gustafson is there to center. And this is going to be an icing against Miami, so we'll go back to the other end for a face-off, and the RedHawks will be unable to change as well.
And now a good sign here for the Hoosiers as they're starting to beat down the Miami RedHawks in their own zone. As the RedHawks can't even start a breakout. All they have to do is ice it just to get a whistle and take a little breathe of breath.
They haven't been able to exit their own zone, really, besides icing the puck. As you mentioned, it's the only way out for them right now. Indiana wins the face-off. Finally, they're able to enter neutral ice, and breaking away on a rush here. That one hits high off of McKay as he tried to lay a body right there into Gerling, but he went crashing into the boards himself. Kissel flips one on right in the glove of Hanks. 6:26 remaining in period number 2. Indiana with 12 shots to 3 this period. They've really dominated the offensive attack, but they've only got 1 goal out of it.
That's for sure. As you just keep the shots going, he can't hold up forever. So keep piling those on and keep bodies in front of the net. I think good things are going to happen. We've said that and continue to say that because I think that's the solution right there.
That puck hit high off the ceiling, so we'll get another whistle and another face-off.
Some extra pushing and shoving there after the whistle again. Physicality still present in the building, that's for sure. Here 2-1 now, 6:19 left in the second period, more than halfway through. And the Hoosiers starting to dominate.
Castracani in the dot for the Cream and Crimson. Miami able to win the face-off, and they send one all the way across. That was hit off the boards by Frotto. Now behind the net. Players tangling up. Here's one sent on by McKay that ran into a jumble of bodies out in front and never got through. Racing in is Frotto. He goes to the backhand. Puck still out, and Billis able to get the glove down and keep that one from going in. Now he's trying to find the puck. Frotto had a great opportunity right there as he went to the backhand but couldn't shovel it past Sammy.
The Hoosiers may have just dodged a bullet there. Great play all around.
Drew Lawrence loses it. Now McDonald racing into the zone. Good play by Gamachia to stop the rush from number 13. Ben Lackamy working his way down. Now at the blue line, the puck is kept in by Gamachia. Chambers able to get a stick on it, and he retreats to try to get it. We've got a stick on the ice. It looks like it belongs to a RedHawk player down there as he is now using his hands to try to get the Hoosiers into the boards. Andrew Hawkins reverses action back the other way. Chambers tried to find Brandenburg, but he got muscled off the puck by Luca Foglio right there. Excuse me, looks like that's Colin Hartwell, number 27. 27 and 21. Sometimes you just got to guess.
And just like the just guess you just mentioned, the 2-on-1 there by the Hoosiers. Really like the effort there. Trying to leave a drop pass to the man in the slot. I believe that was McDonald that tried to leave the pass. Good defense there. But still a good opportunity for the Hoosiers there on an odd man rush.
Indiana wins the draw in their own zone, and now they try to get something going. Chambers got poked away from behind. Michelli chasing after the puck, and it goes all the way across, and we're going to get a hand pass here, it looks like.
Now again, G, I was not here last year, so I don't know this full Miami team yet. But from what I've heard, the captain, Torsten Lee, who led their team in points and assists and second in goals, not here this year. So yeah, how has that been a difference and change? You noticed that without him?
Yeah, Torsten Lee, he was a great player for this Miami team. It seemed like every couple seconds during the broadcast we'd be saying his name or talking about number 18. He was a good leader for them, and I think he ended up being first in the league in points and assists as well, so he knew how to spread the love and get other people involved, so they're really feeling his absence, no question about that. Moving in with the puck is Miller. He gets run into, big collision as the crowd oohs and ahs at that one. Timmons will head behind the net and try to regroup. Slavin taking it in himself. He gets poked away by JT Kelly, and now Timmons will have to retreat again, and we're going to get an icing.
And that's what we're talking about, physicality there. A few open ice hits there kind of knock the wind out of you for a few seconds. You got to get yourself back in the game. But both sides giving it, both sides taking it. So continue to watch for that. Now 3:37 here in the second. We'll see if the Hoosiers can capitalize on the short bench change to the offensive zone.
Miami tried to sneak a change in there, but they got caught. It looked like a couple of the Indiana players might have ratted them out to the official, and they made number 6, Henry Frost, re-enter the action. Spears backhands that one back into the neutral zone. Again, red sweaters hitting the deck. Backhand by Douglas, knocked away, and now he gets it back. Cross ice pass, a shot saved by Billis. The one-timer by Daniel Gerling caught Billis up high, but he was able to get over. Gustafson loses possession. Into the corner they go. Under 3 minutes to play here in period number 2 now. Indiana continuing to lead by a goal.
Really good forecheck for the Hoosiers down there, getting pucks, rather bodies in the corner. Pushing and shoving again there. Another Hoosier hits the ice, as you said.
Spears got checked to the ground there with 2 hands. Looked like that was number 19, Daniel Gerling, who got him. Finally, they get out of the corner, and Miami exits with the puck. That pass ended up going between the legs of Chris Emery. Matt McKay with it now. He leaves it off for Matt Spears. Spears dekes through. Now back towards the blue line, Castracani. He dodges a check as a man went flying into the boards trying to lay him out. That was number 15, Hunter Ferguson, who brought the boom but was unable to put it on him.
She also noticed that the Miami RedHawk wings are starting to creep down in the corner, and the Hoosier D are being left open wide in the blue paint. So hopefully we can get those guys the puck, get some more shots in the blue line.
Billis forced to come out a little bit, but no save made. A whiff by Ferraro there, and Indiana comes the other way. McKay has men with him. He stops, puts on the brakes, now flips one on net. Hank's able to blocker that one away, and into the far corner it goes. Castracani flips one up. McDonald trying to re-enter. He gets brought down from behind. Stick still attached to Tommy McDonald.
Arms up, and the Hoosiers find themselves on another power play here in the last minute 9 in the period number 2.
Looks like they're going to get number 21, Luca Folio, with a hook there, and that's the second penalty called on him this game, as he got one in the first as well.
This would be a great time here to put yourselves up by a 2-goal lead going into the dressing room for the third frame. The Hoosiers can capitalize here. That would be mega.
Indiana started the second period on the power play as well, and if they don't score in the next minute, they'll start the third on the man advantage as well. Whitliff. Cross ice pass finds McDonald. McDonald centering. Hanks blockers that one away, and he does the splits as he sprawls out and keeps the 5-hole protected. It looked like that's where it was going.
A great look there from the Hoosiers, as I said again earlier. Looking to those defense on the wings, top of the circle. And just like that, almost poked one in 5-hole. A good look there.
Face off won by Indiana. McDonald tried centering to O'Flaherty, but the puck got knocked right back to Tommy, and that deflected up high off the ceiling with 42 seconds remaining. Lots of these shots have just died before they can reach Hanks. You mentioned the bodies out in front. Miami loading the box right now.
Good thing and a bad thing. For the Hoosiers, it's a good thing having more stuff going on there in the front of the net, but for the RedHawks, I mean, they've got more bodies to have the puck hit before it even reaches the net.
McDonald keeps it in. 35 seconds to go in the period. Tommy shoots one, and it's right into the glove of Hanks. They're making him work a little bit, but you got to have to really test Colt Hanks if you want to get past him.
Still with just under 30 seconds here to go, they'll have an opportunity to maybe capitalize.
Into the corner they go, and Miami wins the battle. That one flung all the way to the other end by Douglas. And 20 seconds to go. Indiana might have time for one more rush here. Whitliff goes cross ice to McDonald. Tommy zooms in. Puts on the brakes, now back to the blue line. Jeremy slaps one on net high off of Hanks, and they will able to clear that one, and that'll do it for period number 2. Indiana able to net a goal, and that was Aiden Simino who got in the scoring column for the Hoosiers, and it's a 2-1 game at the end of the second. Andrew, what'd you see from that period that you liked?
You know, I just loved how the Hoosiers dominated. I mean, the scoreboard so far does not really show that 2-1. It's really close. But from the shot department especially and puck possession time, I don't know if we have those numbers, but the Hoosiers have definitely taken advantage of that. We saw 15-6 shots for the Hoosiers and hits 11-11. So though the Hoosiers had the puck on their sticks for the most part in that period, they were able to tie up on the hit department as well.
And the faceoff still fairly even. Indiana gaining the slight edge now at 11-9, but Miami has spent more time in the sin bin as well. So we've seen the Hoosiers kind of try to figure out their power play, what they want to do, and you got to think as they get more opportunities, they're going to start to feel it out even more, and eventually they're going to get one in the back of the net.
And they'll come into period 3 with over 50 seconds still to go on a man advantage. And you never know. Maybe they'll be up a man or two. Take advantage of that.
Alongside Andrew Gus, I'm Garrett Drake, and we will be right back with period number 3 and the intermission show in just a minute. You've been watching Indiana Hockey on the Indiana Hockey Broadcast Network.
I'm Andrew Gus, joined alongside Garrett Drake here for period 2 intermission. Hoosiers still lead the RedHawks 2-1. We're 2/3 of the way through this game, and still neck and neck as the scoreboard shows. Hopefully the Hoosiers can come on top here for the third period. But Garrett, what are they going to need to do here for the third period for that to happen?
They're just going to have to stay strong, and really they've done a good job of controlling puck possession throughout. And we mentioned during the second we were calling the game that Miami really didn't have any opportunities to get any rushes going. They spent very little time in the attacking zone. They were playing catch-up a lot of the time, trying to exit their own and get the puck even into neutral ice. They were struggling with that a little bit. So Indiana did a good job of putting pressure on, and I would expect them to even ramp it up a little bit here in the third, especially with the lead.
And I'm sure this game is personal for both teams, but especially the RedHawks here. They made this bus trip. They're going to want to leave with a win tonight. So for the Hoosiers to do that and make that not happen, I think tonight they're going to have to come on this third period. And obviously, I'm sure there's going to be a different game scheme for the RedHawks, as they'll probably try to get the puck possession a little more often. We know it's going to happen. So I think for the Hoosiers to prevent that from happening, you got to, again, close that defensive zone. They've done a great job so far on their own end. There really has not been too many shots. And the Hoosiers are definitely outshooting them. Do we know what the Hoosiers have to do to keep that going?
Yeah, well, Coach Wise talking to the team right now. It's a game of chess, and he's going to have to try to think about the adjustments that Coach Rooney is going to make for Miami, and then try to counter those as well. Maybe have a couple different game plans that they could put into place when needed. But overall, both goaltenders have been outstanding, which we expected coming in. Indiana, so far they've got the slight edge, but they also have an abundance of shots compared to Miami. So I would expect Miami to just really try to rip anything they can at the net, get bodies down there, and hopefully Indiana can D up and man the blue line and keep them out of there. So we'll see.
Colton Hanks has done a great job so far up to this point in net. I think for the Hoosiers to capitalize, as we said, keep those shots coming from the point, but also keep a man in front of the net as when those rebounds come out, keep your stick on the ice and try to bury that puck in.
Absolutely. It's going to be an exciting third period in Indiana with a tough road trip tomorrow. The game isn't until 9:20 p.m. at the Goggin Ice Arena, about a 2.5-hour bus ride. We'll be right there along with them, and it's going to be interesting, no question.
And we are just moments away from puck drop here in period 3. I'm Andrew Gus alongside Garrett Drake. We'll bring you Hoosier hockey in just a few minutes.
After 40 physical minutes of play on the south side of Indianapolis, we've got 20 minutes to settle the difference. Indiana up just 1 over the defending regular season champions, the Miami RedHawks. Sam Weixler hopping back onto the microphone alongside Garrett Drake. You guys did an excellent job in that middle frame. Looking at the shots on goal total in this game, Indiana 27 to Miami 18. A vast difference. And last year we saw the same thing, as Indiana was a volume shooting team. And the hits, Garrett, 23 to 19 in favor of Indiana. The possession was controlled by Indiana frequently, and it looks like they forced Miami to be on their heels.
Yeah, one thing that me and Goose talked about, really the whole second period, Sam, Miami was playing ultra defensive, just trying to get the puck out of their own zone whenever they could. They had to take a couple icings as well because it was the only option they had. So Indiana, they ramped it up quite a bit in the second, and I would expect them to keep that same speed here in the third.
Indiana sure does have some guys who are fleet of foot, or fleet of blade rather, this season. Will Jeremy still just as fast. Ethan DiLorenzo also light on his blades. And these freshmen, Garrett, are very quick skaters, most of them. Indiana winning the opening draw, still in their red sweaters from right to left. Miami trailing by a goal from left to right. Netminders have not changed. It's Hanks for the RedHawks and Billis for Indiana. Wobbling puck rolling end over end. It's pushed just free of the blue line, and skating onto it with ease is Eric Miller. He got a goal in the first period that tied it up. Kissel moves in along the glass, intercepting the pass right in front of his own blue line is Jeremy. Again, he gains some speed, works around and tries to redirect it, poked away by the paddle of Hanks, and into the near side corner where bodies collide. Gustafson thinks about a shot, now feeds to the near side, kicked away by Hanks, and Indiana still circling on this attack. Thinking about a shot, Jeremy to Whitliff through traffic, gloved by Hanks, and boy, his line of sight was very small.
They've had to struggle with line of sight on both ends, Billis and Hanks. There's been tons of bodies near the blue paint, and Sam, he was able to flash the glove right there, something that we touched on that Hanks does so well, and he's proven it several times today.
Well, both of these goalies have impressive reaction times. And last season, Colt Hanks, the netminder for Miami, was a 2-time hacky sack champion amongst the team. I imagine that's got to take some serious coordination, Garrett.
No question about that. And before the game, Goose informed me, Sam, that it was indeed a head bob night for Sammy Billis.
Well, we'd love to see those, Garrett. 90 seconds have been ticked off in this third period. 2-1 the score. Indiana still on top. Will Jeremy broke the deadlock after the first 15 minutes or so were even. In the near corner now, right behind our field of vision, and the puck rolling like a tire all the way onto Simoneau's stick. It's a 3-on-1 rush. Feeds it to the far side. Chambers shoots right through the legs and kicked away into the corner. Now behind the cage. Hanks cannot see it. He thought it was under him. Another sharp shot as Michele has to retreat. Physical play in the center circle, and McKay slashes on, and the puck flies through the air and stays in place somehow, but the whistle was blown by the linesman who didn't like the flight of that puck.
Yeah, that one looked like it may have entered the Indiana bench and got tapped back in by somebody on the bench there, but on that last attack for Indiana, Hanks looked like he really just had to hope for the best and stay put. He couldn't see the puck, and he kind of just sprawled up tightly and kept it from going past him, but line of vision again being interrupted.
In the first 2 minutes and change of this game, Indiana has already gotten 4 shots on goal and has not allowed one against them. Face-off taking just outside Indiana's side of the action. Gustafson weaving around his own man and then forcing a collision as Raftis throws a body in front. Circling around is Spears. Jersey fluttering in the wind as he really has some pace on him. Outside the hash marks on the far circle. Bouncing in front. Jeremy tries to scoop it away. Another big collision. Raftis steps in. Moseying on down. Hartwell feeds it to the backside. One-timer. Did not hit the cage. Billis throws his leg against the iron and keeps the puck ways away out of play. Puck floated into the near side corner where it bounces off the yellow. Right in front of the slot and through. Bodies went back onto their legs again, Garrett. This is going to be just as physical as the first two.
Big hit by Williams right there.
3 on 2. Jeremy's shot gets kicked away. Spears on the second chance. His shot doesn't find the target at all. Trying to tie up his man and do some hand-to-hand combat in the corner, but both sides will get a quick change. Whitliff and Timmons thinking about playing pitch and catch, now they do. And finally a stretch pass all the way to McDonald. Timmons had an off-ice injury that did not prevent him from playing in today's contest. A non-contact injury of sorts, Garrett. 2-1 still the score as the puck slides over toward McDonald. He couldn't find anybody with a red-colored sweater. And now it's Kissel with a shot just off to the near side post and into the corner where it's pushed free by Castracane. Castracane loses possession, and Whitliff throws his blades into the ice, cutting hard. Here's Kissel's shot, kicked away by the toe of Hanks into the corner again. Holding that blue line is Timmons, but his wrister gets held up and sent the opposite direction. Whitliff being harassed from behind, still can't find a partner to work with. You can see his leg pads and shoulder pads as he takes a little chop and a swing at the opponent's legs. Timmons rushing into the corner, and the feed through the slot turns out to not be too dangerous this time. Almost 5 minutes played here in the third. Indiana up by a single goal. Big collision, and Indiana emerges with the puck. Again, it's McDonald on the rush. A one-man wrecking machine, and swings it straight up into the ceiling. And Garrett, that was a really hard shot. Speaking of shots, 6-0. Indiana still has not allowed a shot to go toward Billis and make it there.
And Sam, it's been that way all night. Miami just unable to really get into the offensive zone at all. They're on the ultra defensive right now, and with a 2-1 deficit, that's not good news for them.
Well, Garrett, while we stepped away, it looks like the herd of Zebras has decided to put 2 different penalties up on the board to our right side. Really unusual. And it looks like number 19 is Daniel Gerling. He's sitting in the box now, and the penalty is going to be on Gerling for a cross-check, a 2-minute misdemeanor, and he'll sit down as the referees are using some serious hand gestures to explain what happened to Folio. Garrett, did you see any extra contact on that play?
I did, and I was following the puck, and it looks like it happened away from where the action was, but Indiana going to be the benefactor here as they go back to the man advantage.
Well, Indiana still a goose egg in the column for power plays, but with 15 minutes and 35 seconds in the final 20-minute frame of regulation, maybe they can change their ways and right the ship. Still a discussion taking place.
I think they're trying to get the scoreboard right.
Our good friend Roy Myers over there trying to work the score sheet and help out with the clock as well. It'll be a deuce, 4 minutes, double minor. Indiana will stay on the attack as McKay, facing the wrong direction, twirls around and feeds to the near side. That's Slavin who chips it on and in. Chasing into the corner, that's DiLorenzo, yanks it away and to himself. Big swing, and it's popped up into the air, but it finds a body. Gustafson stops it dead in its tracks and then lets McKay retreat with it. Little head fake and a pump from Matthew McKay, the sophomore, junior. Over toward Gustafson, really chopping his feet in front of the Miami bench. Moving with some speed, tries to get a second chance. Swing and a miss from Castricane right in the slot. He had a really good opportunity, but was muscled off of it. Everyone shoveling at the puck behind the cage. Now wrapping around Gustafson, a quick look. Kicked away again and held into the zone as Slavin charges into the glass and holds the line. Gloved by Hanks on the quick shot, and we are under 15 minutes to play in the third period, and 3 minutes and 2 seconds remaining on this 5-on-4 for Indiana. Shots on goal, now 8-0 in favor of the Hoosiers here in the third frame.
I don't know about you, Sam, but I'm feeling pretty good about this power play right now. We've seen them start to work the puck around on the 2-minute man advantages. Now they've got double that here, and they're going to have plenty of opportunities to get one past Hanks. They've already put plenty of shots on him on even strength.
Knocked into the near side corner, Indiana on the attack. Still with an extra skater out there. Left for McDonald, a quick shot. Another jam in front. O'Flaherty thought he had it under the legs. Indiana raising their sticks as if they've scored. Play continues as the puck wobbles free and into the far corner. Chaos in the crease, and McDonald circling again. Through the high slot. A one-timer off the bar and kicked away. Whitliff had a great opportunity and squandered it. Miami gets fresh legs onto the ice. 2.5 to go on the power play. Jeremy really being harassed on the near side, and it's rifled around the first and second turns again. Whitliff and Jeremy trying to make something happen, and again cede possession with an extra man. Garrett, last season we talked a whole lot about how good Indiana is when they have space on the ice, even when they're down a man. 5 shorthanded goals last year for the Hoosiers. Though now they have a chance to make it a power play goal, the first of this season. Gustafson scoops it up, carries through, cruising through the trapezoid, and leaves it for McKay, who walks the line. Fakes a shot, looks for a deflection. DiLorenzo tried to get his tape onto it, and then gets shouldered away. collects it outside the hash marks, looking for someone to feed. Again, gets clumped up in one spot. 4 or 5 different skaters under a blanket on the far side. Right in front of the onlooking scratches from Miami. Puck flutters into the air and it hits Jeremy. A delayed offside, and now we've got some serious pushing and shoving. Some extracurricular activity in every sense of the word, Garrett. Gustafson smartly slides away from the contact, and Kissel emerges no worse for wear.
We've seen Indiana passing around the entire perimeter of the ice, but once they get to the middle, it looks like they're kind of stopping and analyzing, looking for another way to go, but they just got to keep the puck moving as quick as they can and try to catch the defense out of position. It looks like they've had a couple opportunities, but the passes were just a tad too late.
So 13 and 2 ticks to go here in the third. Indiana 2, the Miami RedHawks 1 here in Perry Park on the south side of Indianapolis. Indiana takes the draw, and Gustafson gains the zone. Gets shoved around and collects his own mistake. DiLorenzo couldn't keep the puck on his tape, and now Miami has a rush. Still short-handed attempt. Pushing the other way, there's Frost. His shot gets paddled away by Billis. First shot of this period that Billis had to make a save on. Under a minute to go on the advantage for Indiana. McKay moving forward. And now right in front of Hanks, he kicks it away. Bodies colliding, and the puck feathered all the way across the blue line. Slavin has to circle the wagons all the way around and let his boys regroup. Now with the head of steam, here's Gustafson. A little 3-on-1 rush, chips to the far side. Down to himself, Castricane shoots, and it's into a body. Scooped and ladled away all by himself. Now here's Eric Miller, who had the first Miami goal. He has a shot from sharp angle right into Billis' shoulder. 25 seconds to go on the power play. And Indiana will get 5 fresh guys onto the ice. Miami will get their potentially last shift of killers for this penalty they've been dealing with. 11:43 to go in the third. And we are 5 seconds from this penalty expiring. A double minor, Garrett, that Miami has skillfully killed off. Now to Michelli, who can't hold on to it. He's dispossessed, and it flutters through the air before being redirected onto a Miami stick. Billis takes the shot in the shoulder and pushes it to the side. Another shot right through the crease. Dangerous into the house. Corralling it is Hawkins. Has a teammate all the way across on a stretch. Deflected into the zone. Tagging up was Williams. And then Hawkins tries to pat it out of the air, and we've got a whistle blown with 11:05 to go in the third. And back to 5 aside with the score 2-1 in favor of Indiana.
The Miami Kill did a great job right there, just putting bodies in the crease, and every shot we saw players diving, laying out, putting their bodies on the line to keep the puck from reaching Colt Hanks. And even if it did, there's no guarantee it makes it past Colt Hanks, as he's one of the premier goaltenders of this league, the MVP from last season, and he's showing why, keeping his team in the game.
Both of these netminders, an impressive performance, and one that will be talked about this evening before these two get set to play the back half of this 2-game series. Tomorrow night in Oxford, Ohio, Indiana will be the visitors for a change after 3 straight home games. Although home games in name only, those are neutral site games we've had, Garrett.
Not quite at the Frank yet.
Well, if they figure out how to freeze the ice, then we can get going. Almost at the halfway point of this final period. Stretch pass, 2-liner all the way to Gustafson on the far dot. He gets it poked off of his stick and jabbing at it. Again, back toward Gustafson. He gets a little shoulder to the side and pushed off the puck. Trying to regain it. Jabbed along the yellow boards and the half-dashers. Yanked free, and then another dispossession. Jeremy hands it off to Timmons, who then has a bad redirect pass. It flops up into the air, and Spears tripped from behind. Playing on is Gustafson. 3-on-2 rush. Far side, there's Timmons. He puts a shot on. Kicked away by Hanks and into the near side corner. 10 minutes even to go here in the third period. Indiana still holding on to the slimmest of leads. Last time these two played, it was an Indiana 4-2 win. The previous 2 games, 3-0 and 6-0 in favor of Miami. Garrett, we talked about it in the opening segment. A rivalry has to be two ways, unless it's the Red River shootout in Big 12 country. And this is starting to become a two-way rivalry. Miami again playing pitch and catch in their own D zone and flung free before being poked at by Hawkins. No deflection called, and icing will bring us all the way back to the left side of the rink.
And Sam, another thing to mention, both of the losses to Miami last year were in the pre-Weiss era.
That's right. Indiana, a coaching change in the middle of November. After going 5-4-1 with Coach Henderson, Weiss stepped up and took the reins, where he's been ever since, and did not lose a game in regulation until the ACHA Nationals in St. Louis. Shots on goal in this third period, 12-2. And if you can assume things, you'd be able to guess correctly that it's Indiana with the 12 shots. Another big crunch as the boards absorb the blast. Swinging around through his own end zone and back in front of the bench. There's Gerling taking a little whack on the shins from an opponent and then getting driven into the banners on the far side by Castricane. Hawkins fakes a shot. Maybe it fell off of his stick. Here's McDonald gaining the line. Leaves it for Kissel. A shot low and kicked away by Hanks skillfully into the corner. Centered in. It's kicked high into the air again. More weird deflections and the puck really not laying at all, Garrett.
That's the second shot by Kissel that Hanks was able to get to with his left foot and kick it away, Sam.
On the attack, O'Flaherty tries to chip it back. One-timer, no, off the stick. And Hanks may have had something to say on that one as well. Shoulder action behind Hanks' net. And the puck slips all the way towards Slavin, where he feeds McKay. McKay avoids a hit and tries to play it forward to a teammate. O'Flaherty through traffic. DiLorenzo, a hard shot. What a wrister. And then it flops right over the stick of Whitliff. McKay again skating around in a circle in his own side. Lack of options forces a bad pass by McKay, but Slavin's able to pick up where he left off and send it to DiLorenzo. Centering pass, kicked in front. A good save by Hanks. He kicked it free. My goodness gracious. Whitliff again finds the puck at his stick. Indirect pass to Chambers on the near side. Gaining the zone. Indiana was trying to get a change on and didn't have a winger on the far side to keep that play going. 7:40 to go in the third. Indiana 2, Miami 1. Furious last few minutes as that shot gets bodied by Chambers. He takes it. It looks right in the chest. Stolen away off of his stick. JT Kelly moves in, takes some contact, and it's swatted away. Whitliff now with some pace over the center circle logo. Gets yanked from behind and bumped a little bit. Maybe a bruise as well. And now into the near corner. Slid all the way around, and Billis holding his glove hand up in the air to ask for icing, which he will receive with 7:12 to go in the third.
And Sam, you can sense the agony in the crowd right there as Kelly came swooping in, but then a beautiful stick lift. I believe it was Whitliff who was down there, able to get him off the puck before he could get the shot off from point-blank range.
Well, Garrett, we wondered how this Miami team would respond without their captain, Torsten Lee, who led the team in many categories, as well as their top defenseman, Brendan Madsen, who was a real impact player in the T tournament. And it looks like they have held their own against a lot of youngsters with Indiana and a lot of guys who had veteran postseason experience. Make no mistake, this is a heavyweight matchup, even though the scoreboard doesn't reflect it to be a shootout. More of a Big Ten slugfest, if you will. Gustafson slips past his man, moving into the zone, tries a centering pass, but it's chopped away. Into the corner, Spears, dipsy-doos, and then gets smacked in the mouth. Makes a pass from his knees to the blue line. Williams leaves it off for Hawkins, who dishes down low into the corner. Fed through. A backhander by Spears. Gets denied. Circles around into the corner. And then gets met by a white sweater. Bodied hard. Puck eventually cleared free. And now on a rush by himself is Frado. One-man rush. Wallace a shot. Top shelf scores! Hunter Wallace. His third goal of the season. Ties things up at 6:20 to go. A beautiful goalie screen on Sammy Billis. He never saw it coming. And Indiana, again, giving up a game-tying goal shortly after they were able to break it loose.
And really, Sam, it looked like Wallace placed that shot perfectly. right into the upper left corner over the right shoulder of Billis. As you mentioned, there was a bit of a screen there. Impaired vision. We've mentioned that numerous times with both goaltenders. And right there it comes back to bite Indiana.
Hunter Wallace last season had 14 goals. That was good enough for third on the team for Miami. Was also third in overall points. One of the most experienced players on this roster now, and a face-off expert, winning 71% of the face-offs he's taken, Garrett. That's not something that should be taken lightly or with a grain of salt.
That's an incredible stat right there.
Under 6 to play. The score is tied at a crooked number each. Third period. Won back by Indiana. And McDonald tries to make himself a one-man circus again. Moves over the blue line, gets it poked away, and leaves it for Kissel. Kissel again going shoulder first into the glass on the far side. One skater loses a stick. That was McDonald without a twig. It gets rifled into the boards in front of us, and that'll be an offside as the linesman on the far side had his hand raised. Now it'll be an icing, Garrett.
Another opportunity for Indiana here if they can win the faceoff to get some pressure on Hanks. We've seen several icings taken by Miami already. I believe this is the 5th or 6th already that we've seen, so Indiana's won on a couple of the faceoffs, but they got to get this one right here.
Face off to the stick side of Colt Hanks. Won by Indiana, and they toilet bowl it all the way around where it's clear to the blue line and chipped towards Sammy Billis' side of the action. He lays it off for a man, and chipped by O'Flaherty, who watches it whiz past him. Getting dumped is Hawkins, and now he gets tackled and spun around by Kessing. They've still got their arm and leg tangled up. My goodness, looking like a pretzel on the ice. DiLorenzo tries to find the puck, and a whistle's been blown. And it looks like Hawkins had a little bit of an attitude, and the referee was having none of it. He is moseying on down to the penalty box for what we expect to be a 2-minute minor.
And that's not what you want if you're Indiana. You just gave up the game-tying goal late in the third period, and now you're a man down. We've been talking about the penalties this team takes. Sometimes they come at the most inopportune ways, and right there we see another example. You just can't do that.
First time Hawkins has taken a breather in the box in an Indiana sweater. Draw to the glove side of Sammy Billis, tied up, a rugby scrum right in front of the scoreboard. Indiana will try to kill this off or make something happen even. Garrett, we mentioned just a few minutes ago, 5 shorthanded goals for Indiana last year. When there's extra space, there's extra action for Indiana. On the rush, he doesn't have numbers, and a big shoulder check. McCormick goes into the boards. Flung free, and it wobbles past the skate of the linesman. So Indiana really doing their best to get new guys on when they can. Quarterbacking the offense from behind his own net. That was Wallace, who just scored a few moments ago. Twirled away, fed toward Lawrence on the far side. That's Kelly. He then takes a little whack at an Indiana skater. That was Spears. 69 seconds to go on this power play to the far point. Moving in, thinks about it. A mishandle and a miscue, and Miami will have to vacate. They send it back around turns 1 and 2. Under a minute to go in the power play. 3:50 to go in the contest. In regulation, that is. Whitliff tries to throw a Hail Mary all the way down toward Chambers. He finds his man on a redirect, and Chambers is in uncontested. Now finally being met, but nobody was with him in the right colored sweater. Missed opportunity for if you're Indiana's offense. Banged into the boards behind Billis. He watches it redirect from one side to the other. 25 seconds to go. Indiana still down a man. To the far point. A windup. A big save kicked away by Billis. And Timmons steps into it, drilling it right at the blue line.
Off. Yep, that's going to be off.
And over and back. And the Miami players are furious, but Indiana, the boys on the bench, were all over that call. Griffin Timmons put every bit of energy he had and power to get that puck just clear the blue line in the air. Shots on goal, 15-4 for Indiana. But the one that counted found the back of the net. Score is still 2-2.
Here we go, final 3 minutes. Full strength in 15 if Indiana can survive, and then things are going to get real interesting.
Garrett, when I lost my voice and you called the championship of the Tri-State Collegiate Hockey League this previous winter in February, I think that final 3 minutes of action took 3 years off of my life. And I expect we'll see some barn burner action here as well. 180 seconds or less to play. Billis gobbles it up right in front, standing his ground. And a face-off will ensue after everybody catches their breath and regains their composure.
And that was a little too close for comfort right there. A bouncing puck that ended up going out in front of Billis, and he reaches out and grabs it.
Change occurring for Miami. Indiana will have their guys in position. Jeremy steps into the near side circle against McCormick. Jeremy pokes it free, and it's laid off toward Gustafson. Turns two, a little head fake to Spears, who can't hold on to it. Another one-timer, scores! Spears, a wraparound, contested with a man over his shoulder. He may get a minor penalty for showboating in front of the Miami bench, but at the moment it doesn't matter. 3-2 the score with 2:23 to go here in the third. My goodness, what a shot from Matthew Spears, his first collegiate goal.
Yeah, the linesman jumped in quick to push him away from the RedHawk bench right there. Spears giving Indiana the lead on an incredible shot that made it past the left side of Hanks into the lower corner, and then really that's all you can say about it. It was an incredible look, and he was able to put it back in. Let's see what the call is here.
Garrett, it looks like Kissel is serving as the captain, and potentially a warning to both benches, saying no more of that, let's play hockey. And Garrett, I think that's going to fall under the category of a rookie mistake by a youngster who was just really excited that he got his first tuck.
Yeah, no question about that. We saw, I don't know if you saw the viral clip where the Memphis Redbirds player thought he hit a homer, but it ended up being an out. It was kind of like that, except this one's going to count. It's his first goal, as they'll keep the puck, throwing it into the bench to be authenticated by Coach Weiss.
Well, they'll get a Sharpie and some extra hockey tape laying around and authenticate that. I guess it's official now that you've got a souvenir. Indiana wins the draw now with a 1-goal lead, 3-2. We're at 2:22 to play. Almost a deuces wild, Garrett.
And we mentioned the final 3 minutes are going to be chaos. That only adds to it now.
Icing waved off, and sliding around toward it is Kessing. He finds a teammate, and it's stretched all the way across on a bounce. To the near side, that's Frado. Gets it pulled away from his stick, and meeting it gladly is Wallace, who sends it all the way across again. Miami, another quick change. We're under 120 seconds to go. 3-on-4 rush. Indiana had numbers, and then the Miami skaters got back onto the ice. Simino charging into the corner, trying to finish his check, but does so unsuccessfully. Jeremy loses his edge and goes down onto one shin protector. It gets chipped and flung back toward Whitliff, who just sets up camp before knocking it all the way down. No deflection takes place, so 90 seconds to go in regulation. Indiana up by a goal after a superb spinning wrister by the freshman Austin Williams.
If Miami wins the faceoff, you got to think Hanks is going to come off right here with 1 minute and 30 seconds left. The officials discussing something now. It looks like Miami's going to use their timeout, Sam.
We saw both timeouts taken, one for each in that T championship game. And Bryce Hatton, the former head coach for the D2 team here at Miami, was visible over his players, pointing and shouting and trying to explain things and how things should take place on a whiteboard, and even just making hand motions in the air. And it was incredible to watch that from the far side of the ice, how he was conveying that message to his team.
One thing to note as well, in 2 regular season meetings last year, Indiana didn't score a single goal. It was 2 shutouts by Colt Hanks. They've already got 3 on the board today, and another game coming tomorrow night.
The physicality has not left Miami. That's been bred into them from the top to the bottom of this program.
And the net's going to be empty here.
Vacating the premises, Colt Hanks will head to the bench and grab some pine. Exactly 90 seconds in this final period, and Indiana will be on their heels right off the draw. Wallace moseying on in toward the dot, met face-to-face, nose-to-nose by Will Jeremy. Draw one and pushed free. Back to the blue line. Folio throws a shot on, swallowed up by the stomach of Sammy Billis. Only 4 seconds elapsed off the clock. Another face-off. They'll load the horses back in the chute and do it all over again. A big swinging smack toward Billis, and he watched it go through the paint. Slides under the skates of multiple RedHawk players, and it's chopped down. Still an empty net. A big hit. Spears turning around and gets smacked from behind. Wallace kicks it to himself. Play not blown dead. Folio stops in his tracks and redirects it to the far side, trying to find the soft space. Thrown forward, but a body meets it, and it's chipped up into the air. Gloved down like a wide receiver in traffic. Pokes free. Billis watches it slide past him. 50 seconds to go. 3-2 Indiana up after a late goal by Matthew Spears. Gustafson gets pushed away, has himself some space, can't kick it and keep it in the zone, has to hold on. Still an empty net, and a really good tie-up at the blue line. Wallace holding his ground.
Final 30 seconds here.
Half a minute to play. Michelli charges in, trying to finish his check, and does so, although being the smaller player in that collision. 25 seconds to go. 6-on-5, Miami with an extra pair of legs onto the ice. They've had possession for the past 30 seconds or so, really making use of that extra man in desperation. 10 seconds to go. Indiana still on their heels. A rugby scrum ensues in the near side corner. Still bodies being drawn toward the puck. 5 seconds to go. Looks like they won't be able to get it out, and that's how this one will end. A back and forth, hotly contested battle with physicality to spare, and Indiana emerges victorious to put a tally in the win column in game number 3 of this season.
It was suspenseful, as always, with this team. Another incredible finish for the Hoosiers, and the deciding goal, what a play by Matt Spears to get it past Hanks. That's going to be the play of the game, no question, to go up 3-2 with about 3 minutes left, and the D held strong. Really, that's all you can ask for if you're Coach Weiss. They made the adjustments they needed to. They gave up a crushing goal to allow Miami to tie things up, but they kept strong, kept the resilience, and they come out with a win.
Looks like a little miscommunication as to whether the handshake line will take place, seeing as this is not the end of this 2-game series, Garrett. We've got to pack everything up and hop on the bus tomorrow morning and head to Oxford, Ohio.
It's going to be quite the journey. We touched on it a little bit that it's not until 9:20 that tomorrow's game's going to start, so it'll be a late one for everybody, including ourselves, but we're going to make the best of it.
Shots on goal total, 43 for Indiana, 24 for Miami. This season, Miami averaging 45 shots on goal, and Indiana just 37. So the script was flipped clean on its head. The hits 32-30 in favor of Indiana. And Garrett, that's pretty much what we expected. More than 20 hits for each team. And a really exciting game tonight, and a one to look forward to tomorrow.
It only makes you more excited for tomorrow, Sam, and me and Andrew were talking a little bit. Indiana, it really seems like they have a target on their back now. Teams try to be physical with them, but so far the Hoosiers haven't stepped down, and they've actually been dominating the hits so far all season, not letting teams push them around despite going to nationals last year and everybody wanting to beat them.
Well, these two teams will try and wash the sweaters and pants and let the equipment air out overnight. But for us, alongside Garrett Drake, Ben Stannard, Connor Duffy on the camera, and our new man, freshman Andrew Gus, who we call Goose lovingly, I've been Sam Weixler saying so long, good evening, and thank you for tuning in to Club Hockey at Indiana University. Final score 3-2. The Hoosiers put a tally in the win column. Welcome back to the Indiana Hockey Postgame Show after a thrilling victory by the Hoosiers. 3-2 the final score over the Miami RedHawks. Garrett Drake, Andrew Gus, and Sam Weixler here. Garrett, as we watched the Zamboni go by, that ice got chopped up to bits, and it wasn't from everybody just skating around casually. There was a lot of physical play.
Yeah, no question about that. It looked pretty solid once we got things going, but it got scraped up pretty quick. We saw players slipping and sliding, spinning around, blowing tires, the whole 9 yards, but at the end of the day, Indiana was able to prevail despite the conditions.
And we saw special teams from both sides really not getting things done. Indiana still has not gotten a power play goal this season. Is there a specific reason for that, or is it just in terms of getting chemistry going?
You know, I think the chemistry is definitely there for the team right now. I feel like once you get the one, it rains, it pours, and once that happens, it will. The middle just seems a little bit clogged. They're getting those outside shots, but just not there for the backdoor rebound. But they're really close to getting it, so watch for that soon.
Well, Sammy Billis stood on his head, the TSCHL postseason MVP, and his counterpart on the far side of the ice, Colt Hanks, who was the regular season MVP last season, he did much of the same. Although he had to vacate the crease in the final waning seconds, it was really an impressive performance on both sides of the ice.
Yeah, from Billis and Hanks, we mentioned how quick they are with the glove, and we saw it a few times from each of them today. But they had to deal with lots of traffic in the crease the entire game, but overall they both did a good job keeping their composure. At the end of the day, Indiana just got one more pass, and it led to a win.
Final shots on goal, 43 shots on goal for Indiana, and 24 for the Miami RedHawks. Obviously, Colt Hank being the busier man on the ice this evening. Any final takeaways, Goose, as we get ready to pack it up and head to Game 2, the grudge match, if you will?
Yeah, tomorrow's going to be a 9:30 puck drop at the Goggin, so it's going to be a late night for the guys. Hopefully they get some sleep tonight and they're prepared for tomorrow.
Well, we'll see you all tomorrow evening around 9 o'clock Eastern Time alongside Garrett Drake, Andrew Gus, our cameraman extraordinaire this evening, Connor Duffy, and Ben Stannard working the tech and everything in between. I'm Sam Weixler for Club Hockey at Indiana University. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow night.